So I just got me a new bottle of Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. This thing was released in 1996. I'm just checking the batch code and for one, I can hardly read it. For two, is this the original or is this a new batch? Was it reformulated? Does it even matter? Let's find out. All right, everybody, welcome to A Fragrance State of Mind. My name is Derek. Today we're talking batch codes. Do these things even matter? Like when you're trying to look at the authenticity of a fragrance and you check the batch code, what is it actually telling you? Well, today we're gonna talk about that. So this is Jeremy Fragrance's Office for Men. And if you check the bottom, you can see this little code right there. And that's what they call a batch code. Now, what does this tell you exactly? Well, it tells the manufacturer, hey, by the way, this is the batch that was made, meaning the fragrance was formulated. We created a certain amount of bottles, and this was a part of that particular release. Similar to like if you look at like a loaf of bread and it has a code on it, and let's say you have mold on that bread and you call the manufacturer and you say, found mold on my bread. They know that that batch of bread was made on X day, using X ingredients by X employees, and then they can kind of narrow it down to say, hey, there was a problem with that bread. Let's go ahead and, recall those loaves or whatever, you know what I mean? Similar to with fragrances. Now, when you get a fragrance and you think, okay, is this authentic? Let me check the batch code. Usually that's not gonna tell you if a fragrance is authentic. Let me tell you why. Now, I'm not here to tell you that this Coach bottle is fake. It may be, it may not be, but whoever made this bottle definitely put a Coach batch code on it. When you check a batch code website, it's gonna pull up that this fragrance was made by Coach. The thing is, these fake companies that are creating these fake bottles are using authentic batch codes. It takes nothing to just get a bottle, pull the batch code off of it, and relabel it on a fake bottle. So does it tell you a fact that a batch code is real or fake? No, and that's a huge misconception.
Oh, check the batch code. It's gonna tell you if this bottle's real or not.
And here's the truth. This is a real bottle. I don't buy fakes. But the fact of the matter is a lot of times people just assume that the batch code is gonna tell you the authenticity when that's often not the case. Now, what a batch code can tell you, but not always, is maybe what year it was produced, also possibly what month it was produced. But once again, none of that even matters unless you're going with like a retro Creed fragrance or something like that, where you want that particular, DNA that was created at that time for that, year or whatever. That may be beneficial to you, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean much. Also, when it comes to fragrance batches, older batches do not always mean better batches. Once again, I bring up Paco Rabanne Pour Homme for a very specific reason, okay? A lot of people will tell you, oh, back in the 90s when this was released, it was better, it was stronger, it lasted longer. Today, it's literally a shell of what it used to be. Now that may be, but let's be real here. Do you remember what a fragrance smelled like back in 1996 when it was released? I sure as hell don't. Here's what I also don't remember. My entire life, I thought the Bernstein Bears were in fact the Bernstein Bears. But guess what? They're called the Berenstain Bears. Now there's this whole thing, where people assume that, oh, this thing I remembered all these years ago are in fact facts. And now all of a sudden in 2025, we're learning that this was actually not what I really believed in my head, which also may be what's happening with fragrances that you remember or think you remember about these scents. There's so many examples of this happening in our lives. We seem to have this sort of memory of maybe the way something projected, or it lasted this certain length of time, or the way it smelled. But let me tell you something. When I was a kid, I hated mushrooms. Hated them. Now, I love mushrooms. Now, would I say that mushrooms have always been delicious? I could easily say that, oh, mushrooms have always been delicious. But if you were to ask 8-year-old Derek what mushrooms tasted like, I would tell you that they taste like dirt. Also, this fragrance may have smelled really bad to you when you were 8 years old. Now it smells amazing, or vice versa. But guess what? Your brain is often not telling you things that you think you know, which means that maybe the fragrance may have been better. It also may have been worse, and you just don't know. A lot of times companies are not going to reformulate a fragrance just to make it worse, because they wouldn't sell it. And let's be real, this fragrance would not be still around in 2025 all the way from 1996 if they were going to try to ruin it. So let's be real. Is it really the Bernstein Bears or is it the Bernstein Bears? Who freaking knows? And really, who freaking cares? So stop lying to yourself about batch codes. Stop thinking that, oh, I'm gonna check the batch code to make sure it's legit or not. There are telltale signs of how to tell if a bottle's fake or real. It's just by going to a retailer that you trust, that you have verified through other people. They've bought bottles from them. They've verified that they're real, legitimate. There are tons of these websites out there. Go do your research, find out who's real, who's not. That's what I had to do as a collector. I had to know who's selling the real stuff and who's not. Unfortunately, the batch codes are not going to be the best option for you to find that information, but there are ways, and if you're curious about them, send me a DM through my website, fragrancedateofmind.com, so maybe I can help you find some good retailers that you can try as well. Anyway, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely hit that subscribe button, or don't. I could really care less. But if it benefits you, I'd really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love you all, and as always, have a fragrant state of mind.